So let us start another group of antibiotics called fluoroquinolones. So first we have to go through the names. So here the names is fluoroquinolones. This fluoro is indicating fluorine and quinolone is indicating presence of 4-quinolone and S is indicating this is the group in which many antimicrobial agents are coming. So that is why the name is fluoroquinolones. Means quinolones substituted with fluorine is called fluoroquinolones. So now we have to go through the silent feature of this group. About the silent feature of this group is concerned, this is synthetic antimicrobial group. So this is very interesting and important. And another synthetic antimicrobial group is sulfonamide. So here the fluoroquinolones as well as the sulfonamides, both the antimicrobial group are synthetic in nature. So this is very important. Next is the this group, the antimicrobial agent possessing suffix fluoxacin. So almost all antimicrobial agent possessing suffix fluoroquinolones except fluoxacin except the older quinolones. So in this group, the earlier name of this group was only quinolones or 4-quinolones. Why? Because the structure was 4-quinolones and that is why in that group there was no fluorine, so the name was 4-quinolones or quinolones. So in this, the first antimicrobial agent introduced in the year 1964 and the name of antimicrobial agent was nalidixic acid. As well as the another antimicrobial agent that belongs to this group was sinoxacin. So once this group introduced its antimicrobial agent like nalidixic acid and sinoxacin, they came in existence and it was used mainly for gram-negative infection for urinary tract. So this nalidixic acid was used for the urinary tract infection of gram-negative nature. About the other antimicrobial agent is concerned, they usually possess fluorines. So that is why the name again came, that was the name fluoroquinolones. About its isolation is concerned, as I earlier said, this is the synthetic group. However, nalidixic acid was isolated as a byproduct from while synthesis of chloroquine. So chloroquine is anti-malarial drug, and while its synthesis, a byproduct was formed, and that byproduct was nalidixic acid, and that byproduct possessing the antimicrobial activity. So this is about the nalidixic acid. After that, once this drug was used, so this nalidixic acid developed the resistant problem. And because of the resistant problem, this nalidixic acid is not much more in use. So thereafter, the scientists they were thinking we have to put something in that group, and as a result, we receive any other group, any other drug that possessing better in quality as well as this resistant problem that appear in this nalidixic acid should be removed. So because of that, the They are doing something with the structure in quinolones, and while doing that, the fluoroquinolones was developed. And amongst the fluoroquinolones, first drug or first antimicrobial agent that was discovered, the name was norfloxacin. So norfloxacin is the first fluoroquinolones. However, the nalidixic acid is a first quinolones, not fluoroquinolones, first quinolones. So norfloxacin, and thereafter, after the modification in the structure, there are many antimicrobial agent came in the existence. So what the better quality that fluoroquinolones have, the better quality then the older one are broader in nature, so broader spectrum, having the greater in potency, this is an important point, and more safer than the older one. So because of these property of fluoroquinolones versus quinolones, they came in the existence, and as well as there was no resistance problem once the drug came. So this is another interesting point with this fluoroquinolones is that when you are going to put this fluoroquinolones with the other antimicrobials that belongs to beta lactams, aminoglycoside, and metronidazole, they usually possessing the synergistic combination. So this is very, very important. Like aminoglycoside, as I earlier mentioned, this aminoglycoside possesses synergistic combination usually with the penicillin G or beta lactams. Likewise, fluoroquinolones also possessing the synergistic combination with the antimicrobial groups, beta lactams, aminoglycoside, and metronidazole. Other points that are coming under this are also very interesting. What these are, this group also possessing similar to aminoglycoside, the effect we calling it the post antibiotic effect. So what is this post antibiotic effect? Post antibiotic effect is the effect of any antimicrobial agent even after the concentration of the drug fall below its minimum inhibitory concentration, and even though they are possessing its antibacterial efficacy, is called post antibiotic effect, means effect below its minimum inhibitory concentration is called post antibiotic effect. Other interesting point was that their activity similar to the aminoglycoside is concentration dependent. Means if you are increasing the concentration of the fluoroquinolones, their antimicrobial activity get enhanced. So this is very, very important. Like the aminoglycoside also possessing the same type of property. So this is all about the salient feature as well as the history of this fluoroquinolones. So now we have to go through the chemistry, and this is very, very interesting. So as I have mentioned, this the name is quinolones. So this structure, this ring and this ring together as a whole is called 4 quinolones. This ring is called primary ring, and this is other than primary ring, and you may say this is the secondary ring. So the primary ring of the quinolones possessing at 3 position carbolic acid. So in primary ring there is presence of carboxylic acid at position 3. However, on the next ring at position 6, at position 6, there is attachment of fluorine or substitution of fluorine has been done, and a resultant we receive the antimicrobial agent groups, we are calling it fluoroquinolones. So addition of fluorine at place 6 as a resultant, the group is called fluoroquinolones. So here at R6, this is the fluorine attachment or substitution. At R7 position, there is attachment of substitution of piperazine group is occurring. So because of the attachment of fluorine at position 6, this has increased the antimicrobial property of the drug. So this is very, very important. When you are putting substituting fluorine at position 6, this is increasing the antimicrobial property of the drug. However, at R7 or 7 position, there is attachment of piperazine moiety, and this piperazine moiety at position R7 is going to increase the anti-pseudomonal property. So piperazine is there at R7 position is going to give the anti-pseudomonal property of the drug. So this is very, very important and important. So this is about the chemistry of the fluoroquinolones. Now we have to go through the classification. So classification is very, very also important. So classification is based upon the generation. So based upon the generation, the fluoroquinolones get divided into four group: the generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, generation 4, on the basis of the evolution. And in some book you may find they have divided into only two group. One is called older quinolones, another is called fluoroquinolones. So another fluoroquinolone is coming these all. So here I am discussing the classification based upon the generation. So first generation, and second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. Under the first generation, or we may call it the older quinolones, the drug was only two or three, and in that the drug was nalidixic acid and sinoxacin, and they are used for the therapy of urinary tract infection. Thereafter, the second generation antimicrobial agent came, and this the most important drug belongs to this one, and the drugs are enrofloxacin, pifloxacin, norfloxacin, ofloxacin, and ciprofloxacin. So these all are the second generation fluoroquinolones. In a ciprofloxacin is also a metabolite of enrofloxacin. I mean, when you are administering the enrofloxacin in animals, one of the metabolites is active one, and that metabolite is ciprofloxacin. So you can say the ciprofloxacin is also a metabolite of enrofloxacin. This enrofloxacin and pfloxacin, these two are mainly used in case of animal therapy. However, the pfloxacin is out of market because of its toxicity. So this is about the second generation fluoroquinolones. Now we have to switch on the third generation. In third generation, the two antimicrobial fluoroquinolones came, and that was levofloxacin and sparfloxacin. So this is the third generation fluoroquinolones. In last fourth generation, the floxacin are getifloxacin and moxifloxacin and trovafloxacin. Here, very, very interesting point that I earlier mentioned, that fluoroquinolones possessing suffix floxacin. So you have to see here all the drug that possesses the floxacin suffix except the older one. That is the first generation. So this is about the classification of the fluoroquinolones. Here I am going to mention one more thing, is that the norfloxacin is mainly or only used for the oral therapy, because norfloxacin is very meager amount get absorbed. Even they go get absorbed, their free presence of free component in the plasma is very meager or very less. So therefore, if the concentration of norfloxacin in the serum or blood is very less, then how this is going to produce this? It's a systemic effect. So norfloxacin is mainly or only used for the for the oral administration and gastrointestinal tract therapy. And that is why this norfloxacin is usually used for with the tinidazole, and the component or trade name is like Norflox TZ. That means norfloxacin with tinidazole is used for the therapy of GI tract infection. This is and the next two drugs, p-floxacin and o-floxacin. What is interesting point with this p and o-floxacin is that these two drugs, they crosses the blood-brain barrier, and after crossing this blood-brain barrier, it reaches to the brain. I mean, see, cerebrospinal fluid. So this may be one of the drug that may be utilized for the therapy of meningitis. So this is very, very important. So this is about the classification of fluoroquinolone. Now we have to go through the another very, very important point is the mechanism of action. And about the mechanism of action of this drug is concerned, the drug is going to enter first in the cytoplasm. So here we are going to discuss how the drug is going to enter in the cytoplasm. So this drug is mainly used for the therapy of gram-negative bacteria, and gram-negative bacteria possessing in outer membrane porine structure is there, porine proteins is there, and this is going to make the water or aqueous channel through which the compound should be enter in the cytoplasm. So by the same way, the fluoroquinolones get entered inside the cytoplasm of the susceptible bacteria by passive diffusion through this aqueous channel or porine channel. So once the drug get enter inside the cytoplasm, they have to act on the target. So how they are going to act on the target? So target of this fluoroquinolones is two bacterial enzyme. So what are these two bacterial enzymes? The two bacterial enzymes are topoisomerase 2, that is called DNA gyrase, and another enzyme is the topoisomerase 4. So this topoisomerase 2 or DNA gyrase is mainly concerned for the gram-negative bacteria. However, topoisomerase 4 is mainly concerned for the gram-positive bacteria. So these fluoroquinolones, once entered in the cytoplasm of the bacteria, they are going to inhibit these two enzymes, topoisomerase 2 and topoisomerase 4. So once these two enzymes get inhibited, then therefore it inhibit the replication and transcription process. So when there is inhibition of replication occur, that means DNA synthesis do not occur, and if the transcription inhibition occur, then no mRNA or RNA and no translation, no protein synthesis, and bacteria is going to die. So what is the in one point you have to explain the mechanism of action of this fluoroquinolone. This is going to inhibit the bacterial uh, enzymes DNA gyrase and topoisomerase 4, and therefore it inhibit the DNA synthesis through inhibition of replication and transcription. So how these two enzyme is working? So these two enzyme is going to synthesize the DNA. How? So when the DNA synthesis is occurring, these two segment of the DNA is going to get separated, so that the the another then why is the separation? The separation is required for the replication and transcription process. So while the separation of these two layer of this DNA, this DNA becomes supercoiled. Supercoiled, or it become coiled. Coiled in such a way the replication or transcription should not occur. So to remove this supercoiling, that is called also the positive supercoiling, this positive supercoiling should be removed with the help of the enzyme, that is the DNA gyrase, as well as the topoisomerase 4. So with the help of these two enzymes, the separation of the DNA material occur, as well as it remove the positive supercoiling and gives rise to negative supercoiling, and therefore replication and transcription process proceeded. So this is the these two enzymes is helping to inhibit the coiling and propagate the replication and transcription to synthesize DNA and RNA, and therefore the bacterial growth and reproduction proceeded. If these two enzymes get inhibited, bacterial growth and reproduction should not occur and bacteria get died. So this is in nutshell the mechanism of action of the fluoroquinolones. Now we have to go through the antibacterial activity of this group. Regarding antibacterial activity of this fluoroquinolones is concerned, this is the drug which is broad spectrum in nature. First point. Second point, this is bactericidal in nature. And not only that, this is rapid bactericidal. That bactericidal group of antibiotics are beta lactams, then aminoglycoside, then this fluoroquinolones. These group are bactericidal in nature. So you have to recall this one. And this aminoglycoside and fluoroquinolones, as I earlier mentioned, that these are the concentration dependent killing effect. They are going to produce the concentration dependent killing effect. Means high concentration, motility of the bacteria is more. So now, as I earlier mentioned, this group is mainly active against the gram-negative bacteria and mainly for the aerobes. Usually, gram-negative anaerobes are not susceptible with the fluoroquinolones. I mean, the gram-negative bacteria anaerobe usually resistant to the fluoroquinolones. Mainly aerobe, gram-negative aerobes are sensitive to fluoroquinolones, and the sensitive gram negatives are Enterobacteriaceae, Pseudomonas, Haemophilus influenzae, Salmonella, Shigella, Campylobacter, Legionella, Chlamydia, Mycobacterium. In Mycobacterium, this fluoroquinolone should not be act against the avium intracellularly complex. So, and also this is acting against the gram positive bacteria, but not majority of the gram positive bacteria. The fluoroquinolones act against the gram positive bacteria are the species of bacteria are streptococcus, and the next is methicillin sensitive staph aureus. So these two are susceptible with the fluoroquinolones, and these two are the gram-positive bacteria. Some anaerobes are also susceptible, but usually the anaerobes are, particularly gram-negative ones, are resistant to the fluoroquinolones. So this is about the fluoroquinolones antibacterial activity. Next is the resistant property. Regarding resistant property of this fluoroquinolones is concerned, the resistant bacteria, how they are they are resistant to this fluoroquinolones. Resistant with this group is having very interesting point is that as most or majority of the bacteria that develop the resistant, they are plasmid mediated. But this group fluoroquinolones mainly or only produce only in this mutation is only concerned with the chromosomal gene, not extra chromosomal, that is the plasmid mediated. So this resistant is only chromosomal mediated. And how these resistant bacteria is going to not killed by these fluoroquinolones? First, these resistant bacteria is going to change the target. So what is the target of these fluoroquinolones? Fluoroquinolones have the bacterial target, that is the enzyme. So the enzymes like DNA gyrase and topoisomerase 4, these are the target of the fluoroquinolones. So the structural modification in these two enzymes is held by these resistant bacteria. So once the structure get modified by the resistant bacteria, these resistant bacteria are not susceptible with the fluoroquinolone. So that is why they are resistant to the develop the resistant against the fluoroquinolones by changing the target like DNA gyrase and topoisomerase 4. Next, how this is going to produce the resistance against this drug? Drug is coming through the membrane, the outer membrane, to enter in the cytoplasm, to reach in the cytoplasm. So the resistant bacteria is going to inhibit the entry of the drug. Or if even though the fluoroquinolones get entered, resistant bacteria is going to remove the amount or concentration of the fluoroquinolone. So if the concentration of the drug in cytoplasm do not reach in sufficient concentration, how that is going to kill the bacteria? So by these two way, it decrease the accumulation of fluoroquinolones within the cytoplasm, and this therefore they produce the resistant. Decrease the By decreasing the number of porine protein through which the drug is entering, and by once the drug get enter, they are going to efflux it out, throw it out from the cytoplasm. So therefore the no sufficient quantity of the drug is available in the cytoplasm. So how the drug is going to act? So this is all about all about the resistant bacterial resistance development. Now we have to go through the ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of the drug. So that is called pharmacokinetic. So here I have earlier mentioned the norfloxacin is the drug that is also the first fluoroquinolones that are mainly used for oral absorption because its bioavailability in free form in systemic circulation is not sufficient to be used for the systemic infection. So therefore, this is only used for the GI tract infection. These groups absorption in monogastric animal by oral route is about 80%. However, the oral absorption in ruminant is about lower than the monogastric animal. In this, the drug is both coming as the oral preparation as well as the IV preparation or parenteral preparation. So IV preparation that are coming are ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, gatifloxacin, ofloxacin. These are also coming in the oral form also. This trovafloxacin is the one fluoroquinolone that is only coming in as a IV administration. So this is very important. So in these fluoroquinolones that possessing the longer half-life, the fluoroquinolones are levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, spirofloxacin, trovafloxacin. So those fluoroquinolones which possess a higher half-life, they are to be in the systemic circulation for longer time interval. So drugs should be repeated for long for taking longer time So this is as and other important point is that I already mentioned the drug like pfloxacin and ofloxacin. These two fluoroquinolones, they crosses the blood-brain barrier and therefore it reaches to the cerebrospinal fluid. So these two are the option for the therapy of meningitis also. Other important point with this is concerned, if the animal is lactating, then you will find the sufficient concentration of the fluoroquinolones in the milk. So therefore you can say this may be used for the therapy of mastitis also. Regarding this is very important, the what are the things that is going to inhibit or interfere the absorption of the drug, like aminoglycoside. As you have seen, the in case of aminoglycoside also, the antacid or divalent and trivalent cations, they are also interfering the absorption of aminoglycoside. However, here with the fluoroquinolones, these antacid, divalent cations or trivalent cations, iron, zinc, they are also interfering the absorption of fluoroquinolones as similar to the aminoglycoside. So this is very important. Now we have to go through the other property coming under the pharmacokinetic. These are the plasma protein binding of the fluoroquinolones are variable. It varied from 10 to 40%. So this is important. And the other important point are fluoroquinolones are well distributed in almost all the tissues as well as in the body fluid. So if any compound that's distributed well in the tissue and the body fluid should be used for the any type of infection. It may be soft tissue, it may be the hard tissue, it may be the infection is fluid. So this is very important for, property. So therefore you will find the high concentration of the fluoroquinolones in hard tissue like bone, urine, kidney, prostatic tissue, lungs, as well as some of the fluoroquinolones crosses the blood-brain barrier like ofloxacin and pfloxacin. So this is the important. Another important point with this one is that some of the fluoroquinolones also get rich intracellularly or accumulated intracellularly like macrophage and leukocytes, and because of the presence of the fluoroquinolones in sufficient concentration in these places, these fluoroquinolones are used for intracellular organisms like legionella pneumophila. If you see the dose of all the fluoroquinolones for the therapy of animals, you will find the dose varied from 2 to 20 milligram per kg body weight, and this dose varied from fluoroquinolones to fluoroquinolones to another fluoroquinolones, also depending on the type of infection and the severity of the infection. Then the last point that is concerned to the fluoroquinolones is the untoward effect. If you can ask about the untoward effect, the most important untoward effects are which one? The first one is this is going to cause the arthropathy. Arthro means joint, pathy means disease. So this fluoroquinolone groups are going to produce the arthropathy. They are going to produce the erosion of the cartilage present at the joint. So when there is erosion of the cartilage occur at the joint, particularly weight bearing joint, then this become very important for racing animal and as well as for the dogs. So because of this problem of arthropathy or erosion of the cartilage, and this is usually seen in case of the nursing animal, or in case of human being nursing mother, in case of children below 18 year of age, in case of racing animal, this fluoroquinolone is going to be avoided. I mean, in the younger one as well as racing animal, we are avoiding to use the fluoroquinolones because this is going to erode the cartilage. Another toxic point that is concerned, not only this is going to also rupture the tendons. So this is another important point. Not only these other important point is concerned is CNS problem. What this CNS problem is that in a rare case you will find the symptom like delirium, hallucination, and seizures, memory loss. So this is the important, and these seizures are raised when you are using the drug fluoroquinolones along with the theophylline or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Why? Because non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug has been seen that when you are using this non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug along with the fluoroquinolones, this fluoroquinolones is going to remove the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, from its receptor. So GABA get freed from the receptor. So once the GABA get freed from the receptor, then inhibitory effect on the individually get inhibited. So if the inhibitory effect is get lowered, then you will find excitatory effect in the animal. So this is the symptom you will find the seizures. Other than these CNS problem are headache, dizziness, lightheadedness, GI tract problem are nausea, vomition, diarrhea. This drug is also going to produce the phototoxicity, so we have to avoid to tell the patient don't go in the sunlight. So this is also going to this drug is also going to produce the liver toxicity, particularly the trovafloxacin. So this is also important. So this is this sparfloxacin and the moxifloxacin has been seen that they are going to produce the arrhythmic problem enhancement. How? Because these drug, sparfloxacin and moxifloxacin, is going to prolong the QT interval. So therefore, this is going to create the problem in case of arrhythmic patient. And the last point with this one is the drug-drug interaction. So as I earlier mentioned, the fluoroquinolones should not be used with the along with the antacid and cations. Also, should not be used because this is going to inhibit the metabolism of theophylline. So we are not going to use with this theophylline. So this is all about the fluoroquinolones.